people we shine. Giving fans what they need. Caribbean spirit, let's succeed. Every show with a good deed. Together we plant the seed. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong. Energy high, heart so bright. Tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight. Every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island strong, with the host we belong.
Calling the CARICOM community, assembling Global Africa, the 4th edition of the Afri-Caribbean Trade Investment Forum. Active 2025 is coming to St. George, Grenada, this 28th to 29th July. Join government and business leaders, investors, and trade and finance institutions to explore the theme, resilience and transformation, enhancing Africa-Caribbean economic cooperation in an era of global uncertainty. Be there as we stand together to strengthen our commercial ties, to promote shared trade and investment opportunities, and unlock prosperity for Africa, the Caribbean, and the wider diaspora. The 4th Afri-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum. Reserve your place now at active2025.com.
Right on live, welcome to the live. It's Wednesday on the ride. Yeah, happy to be here. Still in Spice Country, the best place to be. And I like to enjoy the fresh air, you know what I mean? The nice fresh air, taking it in. No better place in the world to be. How you guys doing, man? Listen, let me apologize for yesterday, because yesterday I had something that I was doing and I was running really late. And as much as I don't like to not do a show, because some people get very upset, and I understand. Some people right now they're driving from work, and that's the entertainment. So I don't take that for granted, guys. And I appreciate, this times when you guys check in on me and say, "Are you okay?" I say, "Why? I'm fine." "Oh, well, you're not here." So I understand, and I appreciate you guys checking in, all right? Okay? Nice. Well, today, guys, it's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. And you know what it is, right? Men Summit. No, Men Summit. We designed Men Summit and Women's Summit and Battle of the Sexes so we could learn a little bit more about each other. The problem that I think that exists most is that we don't communicate. We have all these ways of communicating, ways of reaching, ways of talking, all the different mediums, but we still don't communicate. So we design Men's Summit so that women could learn a little bit more about men. But not only women learning about men, it's also men learning about women. Because we all need that, we have to understand each other. Okay? Nice. All right, guys, so share the program at followers. Today we have our guest, Jab Moses, who is going to be helping us out on this conversation right here, talking about a few things that I think that women would learn from. So women, I want you to tag all your girlfriends, tag all your sistrines, all your sisters. Tag them right now. Okay? But before I Before I go into this conversation here, I want to say this, right? So today I was in St. Mark, and as I pulled up in St. Mark, a gentleman who seemed to always find me, like he always somewhere, right, and always has something to say. And every time what he have to say is way out of context. Like I might be in a situation where I'm in a formal event where I'm not even thinking about anything to do with what this gentleman want to talk about, and he always want to discuss something political, right? Or he always want to shout some loud nonsense at me or some stupid political BS that I am not on. So I met him today again, and he yelled this stupid nonsense political talk and drove away. And listen, you see when some men, they're on the period, yeah, like when some men, they're on the period, I don't know what happened to this fella, right? All you need to know all your place and time and place, because I ain't there what you there on, brethren. You want a constant political talk and bullshit, and I'm not on that. So when you feel like you want to yell and scream at people, go yell and scream at your kids, right? Because I know they on what you they on, my brother. Right? I am not on what you on. I don't know if your wife haunting you and you're just always upset, you're always in a nasty mood. I don't know what's wrong with you. But I know they on them levels on them that you on. Go and argue with people who want to hear your BS. I didn't even get a chance to say anything to the brother because he yelled and screamed whatever he said and he drove away. And that's how he operate. So I'm not up in that. All right? Crazy people, boy. Crazy people. Next thing, before we go on to the program, today we posted on our Facebook page more information about our ride, Monday Night Mass. And it's different this year because this year we on the water. Now, after 10 years doing Monday Night Mass, contributing to Monday Night Mass, investing heavily into Monday Night Mass, we went from having 2,500 people on the road. We have been consistent over these years. We decided to do something new. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We decided to take our band and put it on the road. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Only for some people who all of a sudden feel like the world is going to end because we're doing Monday Night Mass on the water. Like, what's wrong with some of all you? It's a boat ride. It's a party. It's a band on a boat. People went from saying, oh, you're going to be crazy people on the boat, and people go follow. Oh, what kind of nonsense? You know what I mean? Come on. Come on, people. Use all your upstairs, man. It's a boat ride. A lot of you guys been on a boat ride before. The only difference, after 10 years of being on the road, we are now on the water. So we are going to be sailing down, and we are going to be parading. We have our glow sticks, our light. In fact, I have a little something I could show you. It's just a party on a boat. With the picture. Essentially. So people are going to be same colors. As you know, amazing colors always come with the colors and the excitement. The glow stick, the sexy ladies, the outfit, the sexy outfits, and we're putting that on a boat. Yeah, no difference. Party on a boat, right? So for everybody who have everything negative to say about it, I should be used to it, because I remember 2015, when I started, when I did Monday Night Mass, and we always came with something different with the outfits and stuff like that. The first thing somebody had to jump up and say, oh, it's night mass, and men go touch women in the night, and then women are wearing all this sexy stuff, and men, are you encouraging men to touch women? All kind of nonsense, Lord of mercy. I tell you, man, That's what they said 10 years ago. So every time you do something, expect people will always somehow come with some kind of challenge to it. But essentially, guys, we are doing a band on a boat. We are doing a party on a boat for Monday Night Mass. And it's limited. We're only going to have about 300 packages. So it's an opportunity if you want to be on the boat for Monday Night Mass with amazing colors. You got to get your packages. And the prices have not yet been released because we have various prices. It's an experience. So the prices and the packages will be different. So you'll see the prices, you'll see the packages, but just know that we're doing a band on a boat. And when we drop the packages, you have to run and get those packages. Otherwise, it's going to be sold out. Simple like that. Okay? All right. That's it. That's it for my rambling for this part. Let's join my friend. He is Jab Moses, the undisputed king of Jab. And in fact, I saw Jab Moses in New York City playing Jab. And I've never seen Jab in NYC before in my life. But he did it for the first time ever, making history, breaking world record. Jab in NYC. Moses, Wago. Hold on. Let me make sure we're hearing you. All right, go ahead again, Moses.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Go ahead. Yes, I hear you fine now. How you doing?
There's a little bit lag in the network or something is going on, but I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. All
But
right.
yes. Blessings, Junior. Thanks for having me. I want to say welcome to all the ride along guests, everybody who normally tunes in on a regular basis. Want to say good evening to all the Grenadian diaspora, everybody who tunes in from the West Indies and throughout the world. Blessings, one love. It's good to be here again, and hopefully we could have a substantial conversation going forward for Men's Summit today.
Yeah, man. You know why I love Men's Summit? Because Men's Summit and Women's Summit, we do it all. I think it's a good opportunity for women to learn, learn and try to understand how we think. And at the same time, when we do Women's Summit, a lot of men call and they say, well, they learn a little bit more about women. So I think it's good. Although some people might say, oh, they don't want to listen nothing from men because we don't know what we're talking about. We get that a lot, but at least they sit down and they listen. And sometimes they even take it into heart and they go and they try it on their husband or their boyfriend. Right? So it works. So the discussion that I want to have today, Moses, is this, right? Some things that men secretly want from women, but they're scared, they're afraid to ask. What are some of those things that you think that men really want? As men, we really want that, or we deserve that. But depending on the person that you're with, we are scared to confront them, we're scared to talk about it, we're scared to ask for it. What's your take?
I think there's quite a few things men would like to ask in relationships, but sometimes they are scared to. And I think probably a lot of it stems with not having parents or a community that's outspoken or people who could actually help them to express themselves. We as men on a whole, we tend to harbor a lot of things inside. We tend to keep a lot of feelings that we have, bottle it up because I don't know if you know this, Junior, but when you're growing up as a little boy, when you get lashed and you start to cry, they say, hush then, or give something to cry for,
Yeah,
hold it in, or will make you feel it again. So from a
yeah,
young age, us men, we grow up with this thing. If we're going through something, we hold it. You understand? We keep it in, not knowing that some of these things are harboring inside of us and causing a lot of stress and anxiety. But we never had a forum or a place where, we could just be ourselves and just express ourselves and say what we want. A lot of men, they don't even have friends who they could go to and talk to about the problems that they have in relationships because they're scared. Their friends gonna laugh them or go and gossip about them and bring their business down the road. A lot of things men are scared about. But I think an important thing that men are scared to ask for is respect, Junior.
Aha.
You know, yes, men are scared to ask for respect. And I would say reassurance.
Aha.
Reassurance is key. Sometimes you're in a relationship and you need your partner to reassure that, we're on a good path, that things are going okay, that you're doing the right things, that that person's mental health is at a good area. You know what I'm saying? We need reassurance to know exactly how to approach a situation and how to move forward, how to push the goalpost forward. So I
Right.
think reassurance and respect are very, very important for us men. We need that. I would say there are situations where in my past relationship, I didn't know where we were at. We would have an argument,
All right.
and that particular partner would shut down or get verbally abusive,
Right.
and start talking down to me in a condescending, demeaning kind of manner. Everybody's different and everybody handles conflict in a different way, right?
Right.
And sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that the person doesn't love you or doesn't care about you, but the way how they approach is only learned through what they grew up in. If you grew
Right.
up in a family that's always fighting, that's always, have this verbal attack, the cuss words and the disrespect. I'm not saying all women, I'm just saying some women tend to pick up that trait and they have this masculine, attribute towards it, this aggressive type of attitude towards speaking to their men. So I feel like
Right.
a lot of men want respect from their women, but if in the event that it's already established that that she's a little bit disrespectful. You love her, she's just
Right.
a little bit disrespectful when she gets angry. To a man, you could kind of deal with it to a certain extent. You can give her a little leeway, but it could affect you. And sometimes us as men, we tend not to nip it in the bud and say, hey, I really don't like the way that you're speaking to me. I
Right.
really don't like the way how you're communicating with me. Is there something that is the problem? But if you're not taught how to communicate properly, Junior, then you let a lot of things harbor in and create conflict. So if per se, let's say she was having a bad day
Right.
and she came home and let's say she asked you to do something, like throw the garbage out,
Aha.
and you didn't do it, right? She's
Right.
gonna get pissed because she's already stimulated from the day today, right? She
Right.
have to deal with all sorts of things on work, and she come home and she asks you to do one thing and you ain't do it. When she asks you, you're giving her some kind of excuse and it's problem. Ask you to throw the garbage, you ain't throw the garbage. Now you're giving me attitude. Da, 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 da. Then you have the back in, back and forth. And something simple as, oh babes, I'm sorry, I forget. I come home, it was, kind of tired. I just forget. Let me go and do it right now.
Right.
But a next one will say, as somebody who's arrogant or somebody who's not thinking might say, why don't you throw it out for yourself? You see, fool. Why didn't you throw it out for yourself? What happened? You don't have two hands just like me?
Yeah.
And then the problems start, right?
Right.
So I think a big thing is knowing how to communicate and that point that we need respect. Respect comes from a tone of voice, Junior. A
Yeah.
tone of voice. I just always say you could scream at the top of your lungs no and whisper no and it will mean the same thing. But the person who scream at the top of their lungs no, that aggression, that energy that they exerted to that individual, it could be taken the wrong way. Just like that, a slap reach. I'm not advocating for that. But
Right.
things like that happen between men and between women, just individuals on a whole. Depending
Right.
on how you talk to me, would depend on the reaction I'm gonna give you. Right?
I want to go
So
back to something that you said. I want to go back to something that you said, right? Because
mhm,
when we were growing up, and we'll get licks. Our parents would
mhm,
come for whatever reason, and we get licks. And if you dare try to cry or show any kind of,
mhm,
like you're about to cry, you might get more licks.
mhm.
Like Why are you crying for? You want something to cry about, right? So it forced men to hold things in and don't show emotion. And then when we grow up and we get in ourselves in relationship and stuff, then it's expected that we show that emotion. But we were never taught to show emotion. We were brought up to just hold stuff in and don't show that emotion, right? So I think one of the things that is important that men need to relearn is that emotion, that feeling that you have, or that how you feel about certain things. You might feel emotion. You might even feel to cry. And that is a big thing, because boy, it's a very, very hotly debated topic about you crying in front of a woman. Would she then respect you or think that you're weak, say that you're not a leader? How do you approach that, and what happened after that? But the truth and the fact about it, when you said about we as men, we don't show emotion, and we learned that from our parents all the way back then, I think it's a very strong and valid point. Because
Imagine, Junior, imagine that, right?
Mhm.
Imagine as a man, you had to leave your house 4 o'clock in the morning, right?
Right.
Leave your house to go and work a 9 to 5, right? And you had to deal with the personalities on work. A foreman or a boss who's an asshole, co-workers who not pulling their weight, people being disrespectful and smelling a kind of way on transit systems and all kind of craziness you had to deal with out in the world, right?
Yes. Yes.
You going through something and you feel a little emotion, and you mean to say you can't even cry in front of your woman? If you can't cry in front of your woman, who you gonna cry in front of?
Why?
Who you gonna cry in front of?
Hear this,
You,
hear this, hear this, right? Hear this, because this is something that we have to be careful as men, eh? And I
mm,
understand that we need to show that emotion, but a lot of women, they're looking for a leader, and that's what I was taught, right? You want to be a leader, you want to be strong. Does say for instance something happened and you are so filled with emotion and you start to cry? Does the woman look at you the same way, like a strong leader? She look at you like a punk.
depending on the situation, Junior.
Uh-huh.
I think it depends on the situation. I don't think every woman is the same, and I don't want to generalize.
Right.
I don't want to generalize because the reason why I'm saying that is a woman who's vibrating on your frequency,
Yeah.
a woman who's aligned with your thoughts and your goals, your aspirations. She knows you from top to bottom. That woman, when she sees you in a situation where you're being vulnerable and you're crying and you're showing emotion, she will not target you. She will not belittle you. She will then comfort you. Remember, Junior, one hand can clap.
True.
Ego are situations when she feeling emotional. What about the times when she's going through her menstrual cycle, or her hormones are imbalanced, or she just feel emotional and she need to cry, she need to let out? Something happened in she friend group, something happened at work. She come to you with it. It
Right.
might be so overwhelming that she need to cry, and she's coming to you because she sees you as the leader. She sees you as her safe space.
Right.
So if she sees you as her safe space, why can't she also be your safe space? Listen, a lot of men does have this hard shell about them, this gangster aneurysm, a hard, a bad, I'm a leader, I'm an alpha.
Right.
And really and truly, Junior, we don't know what's happening behind closed doors.
True.
Because no matter how hard a man is, there is nothing like the comfort of the woman that you love.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing. Right? You could go into a hard day, you could tired, you come home, and just a little hug, just
Uh-huh.
the voice from your woman, a little touch, a little kiss is enough to just regulate your emotion, is
Uh-huh.
enough to just regulate your thought process. You feel like no matter what I dealt with through today, forget about it. Look, the queen of my life, the person I love the most is here. They comforting me. She rubbing my head. Why am I worrying about spilled milk or something I have no control of?
Right.
Right? But
Yeah.
if I come home, Junior,
Uh-huh.
and I dealing with all of this in life, and when I reach home, the first thing she come in and do is show me some sort of aggression or disrespect, Junior, I might just put on my bag and head back outside. I
Ah,
don't want to be in that environment. Not everybody does well with conflict. Not everybody, some people tend to shut down. Some people, they don't know how to handle conflict. It's like a dog. The next dog back, so they back.
ah,
The next dog back, or they put their tail under the bam bam and they run. Everybody have a different reaction. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I feel like the reassurance is key
ah.
and the respect is key when it comes to something that we need to ask from a partner, but we're scared to ask.
Yeah.
And I think
Gordon?
it really stems from being ignorant. If you was never taught how to communicate strongly, if you
Right.
was never taught how to communicate effectively, communication is a problem. It's a
Yeah.
problem. You could communicate, but if you really cannot comprehend what the person is saying, you're
Yeah.
hearing what they're saying, but it sounds like they're fighting, so you just want to react. You ain't listening what they're saying, you just want to react and match energies. And that
Mm.
is where we had a whole confusion because if you think as a man you could go and match energy with a woman, joke you're making.
Now you can't. You have to.
All them fellas and them day. My advice is don't go back and forth with a woman. That is not manly. That
Mm.
is not manly. What you look like beating table with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to her. Listen to her. Sometimes your life might be easier by doing it this way. Even though your partner or your woman is wrong,
Right.
give up. Let them have the right at that point in time because the emotion that they feel at that point in time, it
Right.
won't remain 2, 3 hours from now. Some people want to win. They want to win the argument. They want to have the upper hand on you. They want to control the situation and the narrative. But you could give them the better end of the stick and still stop them and say, hey, remember the conversation that we had? Yes, you had a point and you're entitled to your perspective and your opinion about things, but this is the fact of the matter. Now
Right.
that we cool down, we could actually speak now. I really did not enjoy the way that you address things and the way that you talk to me. I find it very demeaning and disrespectful. And let us see where this type of behavior come from. Why are
Right.
you so aggressive? I want my woman to be feminine, kind, and soft. I don't want to feel like I'm arguing and talking to a next man. You
Right.
understand where I'm coming from, Junior? So I
Right.
think the communication and the respect is should be at the forefront of things that men should ask, but they're scared to.
I want to go
I
back to.
have some I have some other points, so
Yeah. 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 No.
we could go on.
I want to go back to where we said about men crying, right? And probably we could service some of the women and them in the chat because some people say that okay, they want a man to be a macho, to be a macho man, a man who take care of things, a leader, and
Mhm.
a man should not show that emotional side. Imagine if you and your
Mhm.
woman watching a movie like all you're watching, what is it, Straw or whatever? Imagine you watching Straw with your woman,
Mhm.
and then you start to cry, Jen. you you as the man start to cry, or somebody break into the house and they do something, and instead of you go and you deal with the situation, and they in a corner, they crying, or you see a mouse run across the kitchen or something, you jump up and you start to bawl like a. The,
Mhm.
is that manly? Is that something that a man should do? Is that how a man should express himself, or a man should always maintain that macho, that macho man type of attitude?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think there is levels to it. I think a man is responsible for holding down and also regulating his emotions,
Yeah.
right? But back to the point that I was making, Junior, it's ignorant to think that just because a person is a male, that they just automatically are supposed to know what to do in those situations. A
Right.
lot of young men grew up with women. I grew up with my grandmother and my grandaunt. And my mom, I grew up with women, Junior. These women have nurtured me and given me a safe space.
Right.
But these women have not taught me how to be a man. It's until I was on the street, on the block, is
Right.
until I was associated with other men with strong alpha figures, strong alpha traits, manly men who was using their hands, who was
Uh-huh.
hunters and gatherers. Is until I was exposed to these men in my life, I grasped and soaked in some of these attributes. But I also know of men who grow with women and they inherit the traits of women, the
Mm.
over emotional cycle, the back and forth beating table online on social media,
Mm.
back and forth with women, back and forth with their partners. I honestly just have to do a double take. Like, bro, you really going
Mm.
back and forth with a lady like that? That's not manly. But I'm saying that to say, Junior, it's only ignorance. If you've never been taught how to regulate your emotions,
Uh-huh.
how to be masculine, you have only been taught what you know, and you only know what you're exposed to, unless you go and seek it out, or unless somebody was there to advise you. There's a reason why the mothers does leave the talk about the bees and the flowers to the men.
Right.
There is a reason why the mothers does leave the men to teach the men, the younger ones, how to hunt, how to
Yeah.
cut glass, how to chop wood, how to do the manly things, how to take care of the household. Junior, I don't know if you know about this, but we're here in New York. And did you know that in the Jewish household, and you could, not all Jewish household, but you could correct me if I'm wrong.
Uh-huh.
When a young male Jew reaches at 18 or 21, somewhere around that age, he has already acquired the skill
Uh-huh.
of taking care of the family, paying bills, and making sure everything is sorted out at a young age, very young age.
Mm.
But us in the Caribbean, Junior, we have this mentality whereby I don't want my child to walk under the cocoa and do all the hard things that I used to do and my mother and father and them used to do. So
Right.
I'm gonna give him the PS5. I'm gonna give him the latest Jordans, the Amiri jeans, and the bad shot and whatever he asks for, the latest iPhone. So he's comfortable. I ain't have to beg nobody for nothing. But
Right.
they don't realize that they are keeping that individual, they're harboring that individual in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Where's his chance to go there in the world and fail and
Mm-hmm.
figure it out on his own? As a young man in Africa, you is almost like the tribe that you're in. After a while, you go and hunt with the hunters. I could remember that, right, Junior? While I was in Saab, where I learned to play jab jab. I didn't just learn to play jab jab like that. You have to practice it, and you have to
Right.
practice it with the bigger heads. I had to learn from the men who were doing it before I was born. You understand where I'm coming from? You could only learn from the experienced people. So I feel like, to a certain extent, a lot of men in the Caribbean community, they've been spoiled. They haven't learned how to communicate. They haven't learned how to regulate their emotions. They haven't learned about mental health. They don't understand how to treat women. They don't understand the importance of regulating aggression and knowing how to deal with people just entirely. There's just men right now who are ignorant. So
Right.
I feel I don't want to generalize and say all men are like that, but I see it. I see a pattern. I see a pattern in our community. For example, even us as men, when we drink rum and we go out, right? And somebody bungs on your rum too hard. You don't know the person from Adams. You don't know if they have a knife on them. You don't know if they have a gun on them. But sometimes, because of lack of training and understanding, we want to
Right.
be aggressive. We want to cuss. Hey boy, you don't see your children with drink? What? Hmm? You bigger than me, or by buy that or boxing you down. You
Right.
understand? But
Right.
if
Right.
you grow up in a household, you grow up in a Christian family, or you grow up in a household where your dad taught you, hey, if somebody bungs down your drink, look the other way. You have to live to see another day. You understand? Not every action deserves a reaction. If men are taught those things and taught how to regulate their emotions, we'll have a better understanding, we'll have a better friction and coherence with our women. But if all we know and all we seeing is when daddy and mommy vex, daddy pick up a cutlass, mommy pelting pot, mommy cussing him stink, saying the stinkest words, the worst words, that is the pattern that we are going to remember and we are going to go forward with it. I'm not saying everybody, but people go about their lives by observing their environment, their family, their friends. They soak it in. We are a product of our environment, Junior.
Yeah,
So if
that's
you
right.
grow up in a rough environment, if you grow up in an aggressive environment, possibilities exist that you will hold some of these traits.
Right. So let's look at it from a man presenting himself to a woman perspective. Do you think that women want a man to be soft-hearted, kind, very emotional, or do you think that a woman will be more inclined to be with a man that is rough, strong, powerful, all these attributes that people put towards men? On a scale of 1 to 10, do you think women want A more than B or B more than A? What do they
And
want?
I honestly think, Junior, they want B more than A. They
Uh,
want a strong man more than a weak man. But, Junior, additionally, remember, a woman looking for a man that emulates her father, the
right.
strongest male figure in her family. You don't have to be her father, but the man who was holding down things and taking care of the women and making sure everybody was okay. She looking for those types of attributes.
Yeah.
If a woman coming from a household where a man is doing everything, her father is paying the bills, cleaning the yard, taking out the garbage, tying out the sheep, fixing the plumbing when the plumbing ain't thing. You understand where I'm coming from?
Right.
Helping out, buying groceries, doing these things, taking care of her family, taking care of her. If a woman is coming from a family where she has a dad and a mom, and her dad is taking care of things, obviously she's going to look for that in a man. Because
Aha.
what is it? A woman coming from a family like that and looking for somebody who cannot even provide a sweetie for her to suck if she feel like she sugar going low. What is it a woman going and back to a man and telling him to do certain things that she don't have to request when she's at home? That is where the whole friction and everything does come up because we are comparing, Junior.
Mm-hmm.
We are comparing. A lot of people they won't say it, but we are comparing, even in relationships. And that is one another point that I wanted to go. Men want to know how it is that we could improve, whether it may be in sex, whether it may be romance, whether
Right.
it may be contribution. But a lot of men are scared to ask because it's a very timid conversation. Like, what is it? How it look like, Junior? A man asking a woman, and this happened to a lot of men.
Aha.
Did you climax? Did you climax? How
Aha.
can I help you to climax? How can I please you? What is it that I'm doing wrong?
Right.
You understand where I'm coming from? Uncomfortable situation, uncomfortable conversation. But it's until you have those conversations you could actually realize where she at. People have different experiences. What getting her off with one person in her past might you might not have that attribute or you might not have what it takes to get her off.
Right.
But as a man, if you could communicate and she say, well, babes, you know what? Every time you only want to do it in the bedroom. It ain't exciting no more. Babes, let me go on the beach now. You know?
Right.
Let me go in the park, you know. Let we spice up the.
Hold on. All right, yeah. We just temporarily lost you there, Moses.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Hmm.
You were saying about going to the beach, spicing it up outside of.
Yes, yes, but you see now, you will not know these things if you don't communicate. A lot of men are scared to ask these questions, Junior.
Right.
And that is where the problems stem. Like, how can you be scared to ask the woman that you're laying down in bed with what she requires, what she needs? I think that's so important. You have to know your partner's love language.
Yeah.
Women need things as well as men need things, but we are men's summit, so let's stick to the men.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
know, I have friends, Junior, men who are married, and you hear what they're telling me now. They say, "Job, in all honesty, don't get married
Mm.
because I was getting more sex when I wasn't married. Now that I'm married and I give up the ring, no
Uh,
sex for me. She
ah,
feels she own me. She talking down to me. I
right.
can't do nothing. We married. We have kids together. We have a mortgage. We have assets. I
Yeah.
had to bat in the crease
Yeah, because
because if I only talk too loud, divorce. She taking me to the cleaners. No sex. They
yeah,
complaining. The same job. I don't know what to do. And she forcing my hand, my back against the wall. I had to go outside. I had to lie, and all kind
uh,
of problems. But that individual who's complaining, he's communicating with me his problems, but he's
yeah.
not communicating the problem with the person who's creating it, the
Ah,
person who's creating that feeling. I'm
yeah.
not the one he had to tell about, oh, you ain't getting enough sex by someone. That's not my problem.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, Junior, we need to create healthy, safe spaces for our friends. We don't know what the other virgin going through. Junior, I can tell you, when I was in Grenada, I get a hand, right?
Only
And the
one?
thing about it is, no, I get a couple. He had those that I probably don't even know about. But what I'm saying is, Junior, we have this kicksy mentality in Grenada, especially in Sab and in
Uh,
La Poetry and in Ladi, where I grew up. You go and tell some man in the neighborhood, your partner, you get hung and how it happened. They're twisting the story. They
yeah,
adding fig tree in it.
yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
adding all kind of things in it. And they go in and bring the gossip out it. And when you fall on the block to go and drink a rum and hang with your boys, they laughing you.
Yeah.
They laughing you, they embarrassing you. So
Neil,
now
Neil, hold on.
you say to yourself, but I can't tell this man them nothing.
Yeah.
If I only tell this man them I getting hard now, they're gonna laugh me. Everybody in the neighborhood knowing I getting hard. So let me hold it. Let me hold it. I go
Yeah.
hold it. I go hold it in my chest. He
Yeah.
might bust.
Yeah.
I might cry, but I will hold it
You
because I
think,
afraid this man and them with all this gossip and this big talk and this laugh they laughing. So we as men in the Caribbean community, something like a man going through emotional problems, instead of us coming together and help and have a group chat about it, we gone on the group chat and say, boy, you don't hear Jab getting on, boy.
yeah.
But Jab woman on him with a boss man. A boss man. Jab the ready yet. He the ready yet. We laughing and we gone with the gossip instead of saying Jab. Bro, that's a real tough thing.
Yeah.
I have a therapist number or I have a counselor number. I have a pastor number. If you know you're going through something, I could be there with you. Let me go and talk to somebody who could give you an unbiased opinion. Somebody who could actually help you fix your mind and show you that what you're going through is only showing you something. You're learning from this. This is not you. It's just the process that you have to overcome. If you don't have a strong friend that you could say that I'm an ace, that I'm a ride, I could go to that man and I could tell that man what I going through and that won't go nowhere. If
Yeah.
you don't have that, Junior, it's like you're out in the wind, you're back against the wall. So
Wow.
that is why we as men now we tend to keep things and we don't ask for nothing.
Yeah. Neela Holder. It says women need a strong man, but strength is not measured by being rough or tough. It is about how they communicate or share responsibilities. So they want a
Hmm.
and I want some women to chime in on this here, right? Let me put a number up there: 718-701-5720. You could call direct on the WhatsApp or you could call on the phone line. Do you want or prefer to have a strong man? And what is strength to you? What is strength to you? Because I know some women would say, first and foremost, they don't want no man that crying and running up and jumping up on the chair. If they see a little mice, they want to deal with it. Like if
Hmm.
you in the bedroom and so and something knock in the kitchen, it's not the woman that go in and see what knock, what fall down, or who they in the kitchen, or who
Hmm.
jumped through the window. Is the man that have to brave up
Hmm.
himself. But if the man ain't braving up
Hmm.
himself, to go and say, yo, go and deal with that, and the man want to be scared and cry, oh my God, I can't go. Does women really do women want that? And what does it say about men? Right? What does it say about men? So women, I want you to chime in on this. I think we got a call on the line. Let's see if we caller live. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, are you
Good
calling for the
afternoon.
program?
Yeah, I'm calling for the program.
Okay, caller. Right. So the question is, do you want a strong man, and what is strength? And how do you define
Okay,
strength?
okay. A strong man is not a man who is arrogant. A
Uh-huh.
man, a man who are a decent gentleman. Not who he have compassion.
Right.
You know, and he treat you like a lady.
Right.
But that guy, that young man, I like him. Is he married? Anyway,
Job.
I like him because you know why? Why, Junior? He have a lot of reasoning,
Right.
and he will be a good man for a woman. Okay,
Oh,
okay. The
endorsement, boy.
other thing, the
Thank
other
you.
thing is, like I just always say, being a West Indian woman,
Uh-huh.
I'm from Grenada, you have to be very and having a man from the West Indian, you have to be very strong
Uh-huh.
to really be with a man, because when come for the love, they don't have that. And as he says, it's because they didn't get it at their home.
Right.
But the thing is, you could always learn, and therapy is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, as you say, the pastor, you talk to somebody, and you could get help for it. But some men, they don't want help.
Yeah, but
They
hold on,
just
hold on,
want
hold
to
on,
be
caller.
with.
But just let me be devil's advocate here. The thing about it is that is how we were. That's how we was brought up, because we was taught that you deal with your problem therapy. Therapists are crazy people. That's how we was taught. That's how we was brought up. Like they were like, okay, you need to go to therapy. Therapy for what? Therapy for mad people, right? So how do you get your how do we break out of that? Growing up, and we believe that that is how a man's supposed to react. That is how a man's supposed to be. A man is supposed to cry. A man is supposed to be weak. A man's supposed to be there. A man's supposed to be a leader. A man's supposed to be strong. A man's supposed to be don't show them that type of emotion. A man is supposed to cry. All of these things. That's what we were taught
But
growing up.
yeah, yeah, I understand that, but it's a mindset. You see, you have to change your mind, and you have to learn from your experience
Right.
and learn from other people, and that's how you could. And with as I say, as I say, with prayer, and if it's you as a spiritual person who go to church, you could overcome it. Because if you say you love God, then how you don't have that love to show. But you could do it, and men, they choose not to do it.
Right.
But it could happen, because that guy who's talking there, I know he learned, and he learned from his mistake. That's why he could come and talk,
Right.
and that's why he could be a better husband for a wife.
Wow. Job getting
You know,
endorsement. Job Moses getting endorsement tonight.
yeah.
Thank you.
I'm like, I'm single, and it's hard for me to really date, because
Oh.
I'm looking for a man with understanding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that guy, you know.
Oh, okay.
Who could, respect, and it's all about respect too, as he says.
Caller, let me play dating king here right now, right? What kind of man you looking for? Or are you looking, by the way? Are you looking for someone?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right.
And
What kind of attributes are you looking for? What are you looking for from a man?
okay, I'm looking for not an arrogant man. I'm looking for a calm man, but
Calm.
not a soft, a man that would just, but a strong man with the attributes of respect.
So you don't want a
right?
soft man. You don't want no soft man.
No.
You-
Yeah.
Okay. When you say you don't want a soft man, what you mean? Like if he cry and think he's soft, right?
No, not a crying, because a man could show emotion. You understand? But I'm saying a man who's just gonna be there and not about nothing. For me, I'm a business person, like right. So I'm looking for a man in that attribute, like a businessman, not a man who just sit there not doing nothing.
Okay.
A man who could bring something to the table, like I could bring something to the table.
Okay. All right.
And then I'm more older. I just turned 59.
Okay.
So I'm looking for a man between 59 to 60
What?
to 65.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
A macho man, a macho man who been there and done that.
60?
I'm not looking for an angel, but I'm looking for a man who been there and done that and want to settle down.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And also to a Christian, a man who believe in God, not a man who go to church or whatever, but a man who believe in God, because when they believe in God, it make them more more like a gentleman, treat you like a lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this other question. Do you want a man that is very, I'll say, do you want a man that's very sexually active, that could, women romantic in the bedroom, take you there? Are you still looking for that, or are you just looking for a companion?
Well, a companion, because let me tell you something, sex is not everything.
Okay.
But if we together, then I know I have to fulfill that, I will fulfill it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want him to go out there to think. So I will, even if I don't, and I will make him, happy in that, because I understand that part.
Well, you put it out there. I bet people go call me and say they want to get hooked up, because we have a lot of men in the 50s and 60s, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, but when they start going down the road, you know what has happened?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But as I said, business mind, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And have something, because as I say, for me, I'm very successful. I'm 59 and I'm very successful.
Oh, well, that's
I'm not
good.
looking for like a rich, he has to be like rich.
Right.
You understand? But he could able to take care of himself. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we are back up for each other.
Well, that's a good sell. You're successful. You have your stuff. You have your things. You're independent. You want no man to depend. Right. So you have those. You have your things. That's good. Well, I think you're a great candidate. A lot of people gonna be reaching out to me for your number, So if they reach out to me, should I tell them who to call?
Yes.
I'm a matchmaker today, boy. What? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Thank you so much.
Junior, I hope when you make them match and them and you don't work, I hope you have insurance money.
Hey. I'm a matchmaker, boy. I got to start a balloon, then pop the balloon, sure. I got to start that. we got another caller on the line. Caller, line, where you calling us from? Hello?
Junior.
Hey.
Yeah, what's up?
Adi.
This woman and them. No matter what man they get, they satisfied.
Uh-huh.
They want a painter. They want a bus driver. They want a changer. They want a man that build the sky. They never satisfy. Most of them always say you have to bring something to the table. When you bring the thing, they can't even buy the table. You understand? No, if you have a woman is like this.
Uh-huh.
They want a man. A woman is before okay. You date a woman. The man, let me say the man is not good in bed.
Uh-huh.
You know they will leave that man. They claim they have the experience, right? But they will leave that man and one hand with another man instead of teaching him.
Uh-huh.
You understand? So they don't only talk them things before they get the man.
Oh.
You understand? All this stuff.
I see. I see.
Close the door. Close the door.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
see. So they only just talk. They just talk. They just talk.
I just talk.
Ah.
Them things are supposed to be talk. Because life is more complex. Life is more complex than that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Life is much more complex. People always say, oh, I like this guy because he's so cute. That's just different.
Ah.
I mean, when they get the cute man, or they just realize the man ain't working. I never have a job. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's a complexity of things that they just want.
Right.
All these different type of man. Man that this, man that tall, man that short, man that this, man that walking, man ain't walking. And all like that. If a man ain't have a job, they live, and if he walking too much, you see living him. Later.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. We. Yeah. Job King. Let me Job King. Job Moses.
You know what? At the end of the day, Junior, everybody is entitled to their opinion and
Yeah.
to their perspective of how they see things. It doesn't make it fact because remember the statement that he just made. He's still generalizing.
Yeah. You can't generalize.
We both know, Junior, of many successful relationships, many married black people, Caribbean people, American black couples who've had successful relationships over 30, 40, 50, 60 years, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we have to admit that because of social media and how things are right now, everything is much more sexualized,
Yeah.
right? And back then, let's say 40 years ago, you had to write a pen pal, or you had to go and court a woman, and you had to go to she parents' house to ask them permission
Uh-huh.
to date her, to court her. Now you're going in she DMs on Instagram and on
Yeah.
Facebook, right? And telling her all kind of shippiness about money and promises and trying to bamboozle her and fool her and lie to her, hoping that you go get some sausage.
Hold on. We got another call on the line. Caller, live, where you calling us from?
Hello?
Hi, caller, you live.
Yes, I'm calling from Canada.
Canada. Go right ahead.
Yes. Now, the thing is, I think what a lot of men and women fail to realize that relationship is not a one size fit all. People requires different things. Well, let's say men require different things from a woman, and women requires different things from a man.
Right.
Now, the thing is, not because you connect with someone means that you guys are going to have a successful relationship. Sometimes, if you connect, you guys were just not meant for each other, because who's to say that a man could provide me with my love language or vice versa? Who's to say I can provide his love language? Like the caller before said, like, no matter what, woman is never happy. But that's not true. It's just finding that person that compliments you and that person that fits into who you are, your lifestyle, your goals, your dreams, and all these things.
Right.
So, I mean, when people say, well, I want a man with this attributes and that attribute, and then in the end of the day, they got what they're asking for, and then there's other issues. That's because the person cannot fill that other aspect of your life. And then sometimes, a lot of the time, women do not know what are the important aspects of their lives until they get into a relationship when it's not being fulfilled. And vice versa. I think men is the same thing too. At the end of the day, I think respect and understanding and communicating properly from the very beginning as to who you are, what you're looking for, how you were raised, what, your goals. All these things should be things that should be discussed from the beginning.
Right, right. But we all know that don't
I
happen. But
agree. While I agree with her, Junior, my whole take on this is, even though we should, and she's right, we should communicate all our needs and our desires in the interim. But
uh-huh.
most of the times, Junior, we as human beings, when we meet people now, most of the times it's true attraction. Oh God, you don't see that man? That man
Yeah,
look good. Oh God, you don't see that woman? That woman look good. Let me see if I can talk to her. It normally stems through attraction because most times a woman could see a good man in front of her who have all the attributes, but hey, the man is 5'7" and the woman is 5'11" and is a problem, Junior.
yeah,
It is a
yeah.
problem, right? So despite all of the things that they're asking for, they still have a certain level of requirements. So
Right,
they're willing to give up everything because the one thing that they want a man who's taller than them. They need a man who's taller than them. They don't want to look down to kiss their boyfriend.
right,
So
right,
the tall man, all women looking at that tall man, that tall, handsome, strapped black man, all them women looking at the same man. So you come like the 1% man that all the ladies are looking for, all of them
right.
want the same thing. But it's only 1% of them and 100% of the women looking for the same thing. And then
I,
that 1% man now he feeling himself. All these women and them want me. He look like I have goal here. I go do what I do.
I hear
I'm
that.
gonna continue doing what I'm doing. I won't settle if I get in.
Right.
If I get in the cake, why I have to pay for it? I get in the cake for free. Why
Uh-huh.
do I know how to pay for it? Tell me why I need to pay for it. And
That-
sometimes that's a bad mentality that we have towards those situations. But I was just saying that to say that the point is, even though she's right, we need to
right.
have communication and say our desires. But most of the times, the relationship and so on is initiated by attraction.
Yeah, absolutely. The caller to wrap up, and then we have a caller on the phone line. Caller, are you still
Hi,
there?
good night. Good night. Good night, Junior. How are you
Yes.
Oh,
doing?
okay. Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
Caller on the phone line. Hold on 1 second. Caller on the WhatsApp. Caller go wrap up. So caller on the phone line. Hold on 1 second. Okay. WhatsApp call. Go
No
ahead. Go
problem.
ahead. Go ahead. WhatsApp. Caller. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, so at the end of the day, I think life is just a relationship. It's all about a balance. And once you can maintain a balance, you stand a chance of it being successful.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Thank you so much for your input. Okay. So we have a caller on the phone line. Caller on the phone line. Go right ahead.
Night, Junior, again. Night, Junior. I'm
Yes.
calling from Grenada.
Grenada.
I'm
Hi.
listening to the topic, and it's very interesting, right?
Yeah.
That I had to make that call.
Appreciate that.
Now, we all have different things that we get into relationship for, right? And this
Uh-huh.
is something that everybody do it. Now, is it for the right reason when you get into a relationship with somebody? So then you have to decide what is the reason I'm getting into the relationship. And then don't matter how long you actually be around that person, that you would never know everything about an individual. You would never know. But then you have to know in your spirit, what are you looking for? And then when you connect with that individual, it don't have to be about physical or what the person could bring to the table. You have respect, you have mutual understanding. And we as women, I'm speaking from experience as well, sometimes we really put men in certain situations and we actually damage their ego. So sometimes when we have to get to that part where that person would want to reach us, it's kind of difficult because we already created that sort of a barrier that caused them to feel uncomfortable with us. So we have to try our best to be open and be understanding, respectful, and the emotional part. A lot of times we grew up in this era where people say men shouldn't cry and whatever, whatever. And as a parent, I did it with my son as well. But I
Right.
had to unlearn when they're not able to share their emotion in that way, they take it out somewhere else. They
Right.
bring it out elsewhere. So it starts from us as parents grooming our boys because they don't get big just like that. It's a phase. And when we do the right thing, then we're creating actually healthy supportive men in society that even if you have some issue, you go to them, they're able to understand your emotion and able to walk along with you. And when we take it to that level, we would build that relationship that we're looking for in a man. So it's not a one-way thing, and it is a two-person thing in a relationship, not one person. So I just had to chime in tonight.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you so much for chiming in on this very important topic there, Grenada. I wanna wheel back a bit, Job Moses, right? Because we have to establish that and explain the topic, the initial topic of uh, men secretly want this from women, but scared to ask for it. So let's just itemize some of the things because we already past that time frame already. What are
Mhm.
some of the things again? So we could recap that.
Respect,
Uh-huh.
reassurance, having a safe space where we could speak about your insecurities without laughing or minimizing them. Um, Communication, effective communication. Um, Care. Most importantly, I think we want care. We want a partnership. We want somebody who can actually hear us out, even though we're wrong, and still explain it to us how we're wrong, justify why we're wrong, and solve the problem. You know what I'm saying? We want somebody who's our partner. We want somebody who's our friend. But so back to saying that the things that we're looking for is that we're scared to ask about is respect, reassurance, love, so we could have a safe space to speak about things that are affecting us in the relationship. There's a pile of things, honestly, Junior. I think we want our partners to initiate sex. I would say probably somebody who can see your vulnerability not as a weakness, but as something to address and something to make you bond a little bit stronger. And I think we also want our partners to not compare us to their exes or to other people in general, because no two persons are the same. And I think we also do want to ask our partners for more affection. As
Yeah.
men, I could say this: I don't want my partner to be all hard and difficult. This is my safe space. This is my comfort. This is the person that I love. This is the person that makes me soft. As a man, Junior, do you know if you have a daughter, well, you have kids, right? There's a certain softness.
Uh-huh. All right, we lost Moses, but I'm sure he's going to reconnect back here with us. Guys, we do this men's summit and women's summit and battle of the sexes every week because I think it's important that we have this conversation over and
Can
over
you hear
again.
me?
Yeah, okay, you're back.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Moses, you there? You hearing me? You hear me, Moses? All right, yeah, Moses having some connection problem there. Yeah, so it's important that we have this conversation over and over again because it gives us an opportunity to understand. Even some younger men, and even some older men that are watching, they're learning from this, all right? And hopefully, when we have a conversation where women are talking, a lot of men tune in to learn as well because there are so many ways to communicate. But the funny thing about it is, we communicate far less. There's so many methods, so many ways to reach, so many ways to connect, but we don't use those methods. We don't communicate for the right reasons, right? So that is why we have these types of conversation here on Ride Along Live, all right? If you want to be a guest on this conversation, you don't have to have a PhD in relationship. You don't have to have a doctorate in relationship. You just have to be a person because I'm sure a lot of us experience life and we are PhD at our life. So if you want to be a guest, you could surely do so. Inbox us and we'd love to have you on the next edition of the program. Jab Moses, we're just about a point in time where we have to wrap up. So let's
Mm-hmm.
let's wrap it up with a few last words.
Yeah, so I think this whole take, Junior, this whole take on Men's Summit, I think it's a very informative topic that we're touching on. I think there's more things that we need to unfold in regards to what men secretly want to ask from their partners but are scared to. And I think in life, sometimes the things that you're scared about is really what's going to get you to push the goalpost forward. You have to face your fears. I could remember as a youth junior when I was scared to swim
Mm,
and being in Sab and going by the river, the Great River run right there. You have to swim if you want to go and hunt with the guys and them, the hunters. You have to be able to swim. If a manikou fall in the water or a guana fall in the water, you have to be able to heave it. So I
right.
think facing your fears as men is important, but we need to create more safe spaces that we can actually discuss what's bothering us and how it is that we can get what we need from our partners. So it can't just be the safe space with men, but men also should seek safe spaces in women.
Right.
I understood women more when I communicated with them better, when I heard their problems, when I heard what they were going through with their partners. So I think we need to communicate better as men. We can't be shutting down constantly and harboring feelings inside. We need to be able to express yourself. Just say how you feel. Even if you come
Right.
off the wrong way, express yourself. Let your lady know, hey, babes, this big dress that you're wearing when I come home, I don't really like it. When we
Right.
just meet, you used to wear some nice, sexy lingerie and some nice things. No, you ain't doing it again. He ain't giving me that thing. And I don't like the way you're talking down to me.
Right.
You could talk to me, but don't talk to me so loud. Why you barking at me? Speak up. Our men need to speak up. If you're in a situation and you feel like your partner is being verbally abusive to you, you need to speak up. There are a lot of men as well too, Junior, who have women in their lives who are physically abusive. And I think that's one of the worst things because no man coming on social media and saying no woman just beat me.
True.
No man doing that, Junior. None of them doing it. But we know of men who are going through those situations. But if they come and say it, and you see the double standard is right because a woman beat up a man on social media, he deserves it. I don't
Yeah.
even know him, but he deserves it. He do something together. Let a man put his hand on a woman on social media and his problems. He had to go to jail, this, all kind of thing. They don't even care that the woman hit the man initially. You understand? So
True.
sometimes we create this perspective in life. So all I'm saying is that men, if you know you're going through something, find somebody, whether it's a man or a woman, who you think can be confidential, who will give you an unbiased opinion.
Right.
Somebody who don't know your partner, somebody who don't know the life that you're living. Talk to somebody, be truthful to them, tell them what you're going through, get an unbiased opinion, go to therapy. That's
Mm,
important. Go to therapy. Every man needs therapy. No matter how successful you think you is, how much money you have, how much woman you have, how much things you have. Everybody need therapy. And if we just sit back here and think that the way how we approach things in life is right and the aggression that we have in our
hold on.
that's
Yeah,
my
man.
that's my whole rap to it there right there.
All right. Thank you.
Junior.
Thank you, Ja Moses.
Hmm.
Appreciate you, my brother, coming through and sharing, dropping some gems on with us. Appreciate that.
Yes,
Yeah,
man.
man. So, right along live. Again, we have this program, Men's Summit, Women's Summit, Battle of the Sexes on a weekly basis. Because, as I said earlier, we need to have more conversations right here, all right? Let's take a quick break, guys, and we'll be right back. Don't move. Right along live.
Hi, I want $10 on Playway, $20 backup on Pick 3, and cash for each, please.
Okay, are you adding multi-X to your bet?
Yes, multi-X, all of them.
Smart! Best value bet. Backup and multi-X? You cannot go wrong.
Don't matter the bet, multi-X all of the daily games.
With multi-X added, your winnings can be multiplied 3 times, 5 times, even 7 times. So make it a rule. Add multi-X to all your playway, daily pick 3, and daily cash for bets every day and for every drop, and watch your money grow. Available at stores and online.
You heard it here. Multiply your winnings daily. Must be 18 or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Are you a progressive young leader, a proactive emerging executive, a rising professional? Then you need appropriate cover for your vehicle. Introducing the Pro Motor Plan from Beacon. Car insurance that includes free loss of use, windscreen cover up to $3,500, free special perils, free accident forgiveness. Get Beacon's Pro Motor Plan today. Don't procrastinate. Call Beacon today at 440-4447 or visit beacongrenada.com.
Calling the CARICOM community, assembling Global Africa, the 4th edition of the Afri-Caribbean Trade Investment Forum. Active 2025 is coming to St. George, Grenada, this 28th to 29th July. Join government and business leaders, investors, and trade and finance institutions to explore the theme, Resilience and Transformation, enhancing Africa-Caribbean economic cooperation in an era of global uncertainty. Be there as we stand together to strengthen our commercial ties, to promote shared trade and investment opportunities, and unlock prosperity for Africa, the Caribbean, and the wider diaspora. The 4th Afri-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum. Reserve your place now at active2025.com.
Looking for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our program today, Ride Along Live. Don't forget, guys, keep in mind, and get ready for amazing colors. This year, we're on the water. Yeah, we're on the water, Monday Night Mass on the water. It's going to be a really nice, exclusive event. Monday Night Mass on the water, Ecstasy, that's where we're going to be, all right? Also, guys, if you're looking to book an e-bike for excursion while you're in Grenada, check out Ride e-bike, excursion and tours. Online at ride.gd, that's ride.gd, ryde.gd. And if you're inquiring about the Monday Night Mass with amazing colors, packages on sale this Monday on ride.gd, all right? Again, guys, thank you for watching and thank you for being a part of our program today. Catch you again tomorrow. Corpus Christi. Good night.
Oh, love taking flight. Every ride is sheer delight. Making waves across the seas. Love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please. Bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong. Energy high, heart so bright, tune in, feel the light. Global love taking flight, every ride a sheer delight. Making waves across the seas, love and joy in the breeze. Ride along live if you please, bringing hope with such ease. Ride along, join the dance, let's sing the song. From island to island, strong with the host, we belong.